Okay.
have some
Hi,
idea.
good evening. And the time being, by the clock on the wall, it's 5:45. Welcome to the Thursday, October 11th, 2018 Selectmen's meeting. We're starting a little bit on the late side. We just planted a tree for Dennis Allen down at the Public Works Department. Everybody's here except for Joe is at the Taste of the Trails representing the Board of Selectmen. So can you rise and say the pledge, please?
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so
Policy fit on the chair.
anyway, we planted a nice apple tree. Dennis and Public Works Department did a great job planting it, and setting it up properly so it will survive real well.
That was very well set up tonight. I'm telling you, she did an excellent job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kevin.
Maybe we can get a picture over to Tim to put on the.
I think he's already got it, yep.
So I got one.
And I think it's going to go down the road for the paper and be on our website.
Okay, so they.
Sign, it's the law.
We never,
That's-
did we
what's
let
the
Donna
law?
Rhodes know that that was taking place?
Oh,
I think I did.
or if you want, yeah.
We should have a policy of letting her know.
I'm sorry, what?
Did we let Donna know? No.
I spaced. I thought about it and then I didn't follow through.
If we get the picture to her, she's
Just
just.
take it and we'll see it.
Sure.
She'll run from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we have, we're actually starting 15 minutes earlier. We have the town administrator update.
Am I guest one or guest two?
Whichever you want. You could be both if you'd like.
Stereo.
All
Oh, I think top billing.
Well, I have an update for the select board now. I do have copies of my report, just over here if anyone wants a copy, or I can go through and, all right, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, last week we had a little bit of a discussion about having the different departments in to report to the select board to give updates. And I thought it might be a good idea to get them on a regular schedule. Possibly having, let's say, DPW in the third Thursday of the month, and the police chief the fourth Thursday of the month, so that they're on a regular schedule, and you know they're going to be here, and they know when they're supposed to be here, and you get your updates like that. Does that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Does.
So we will, if you're in agreement, we will notify DPW. Now, the only thing, after having said that, with our potentially new position, you may want to talk with the DPW director more frequently in the next 6 months, but maybe not.
So we can change it.
Yeah.
We can add
Oh,
to
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
He sends a pretty complete report.
Yes, you did.
About the town planner.
Happy to put him on, we could put him on the
He's technically a
schedule?
department head, isn't
Yep.
he? We've got some, I think, unresolved issues.
Okay. How about we could have him on the second Thursday of every month? Does that work? Okay. Just wanted to give you an update. The DPW employee that we had the discussion last week about the medical card, he has received that. So we're all set there.
Great news. Got it.
Got a email on the TAP application. I think it came to you, Catherine, and you let us know that you are not the person assigned to that committee. So what we're suggesting to the board is that we put Dari on as the person to serve on that committee, and possibly Joe Jessman as the alternate.
What's TAC short for?
Technical
Technical Advisory Committee,
To the
if,
Lakes Region Planning Commission.
if the Public Works Director would be able to attend, that might be, because it is roads.
We
Bridges.
assigned somebody
I thought
last
Public
year.
Works, yeah.
I believe it was our Public Works Director.
It was Brock,
Joyce.
and then,
Joyce.
right, but we looked through the paperwork, and that commission had expired. And what we found was a letter or an email was sent to Catherine advising her about a meeting, and that's when Catherine sent us an email saying, I am not the person who serves on this committee. We looked through the paperwork, Joyce's commission has expired, so right now we just need to put somebody on there. And the thought was that it would be Dari and Joe Jessman as the alternate, because he's served on that committee before.
So moved.
I still think it should be Public Works because it so much pertains to roads and, infrastructure and, what roads might need to be corrected and,
So,
and it's not really a planning thing. I
can we
was on
do,
it, the Technical Advisory Committee, they're the ones that help create the 10-year plan, and it's all roads.
I get where you're coming from on that. A year from now, maybe we could do that. But do you want to? Well, technically, we don't really
No, they
need to
do.
know.
It's only, it's not even once a month. I think it's every other month. It's in the afternoon.
So it's really a situation where they're planning transportation. I sat in on a couple of those meetings, and I'm trying to think of what, this was a few years back.
Last time, when I was on it, they were discussing the scenic roads,
Yeah,
what towns are going to be part of that.
okay.
Different intersections that need to be corrected. What intersections in Tilton might need to be fixed, Silver Lake Road and Route 3.
so in this,
If he's not going to be able to attend,
right. So let me just read this. It says here, membership on the TAC usually includes individuals who have technical expertise in transportation, for example, public works directors, town planners, administrators. So as I'm looking at this list, I note that my town planner in Meredith, John Edgar, sits on this committee, so it looks like it could be, and I recognize some other names who are not DPW folks, but planners, so it could go either way. And I would suggest that since we're trying to get Kevin up to speed, and he's going to be working down at DPW, that maybe he could attend maybe every other one, just to get a feel, but until he gets his bearings, maybe you want to have Dari?
That's kind of where I was coming
or
from.
maybe he could be the alternate and Joe could be the member.
Oh, I like that idea. I like that idea.
I like
Okay.
the idea that the Public Works Director should go, like we've had it in the past. But
Well, both of them will go with the alternate, because the alternate goes anyway.
So you want to have Joe be the member?
And then, and
I think as,
or vice versa,
like I
because Joe's
said,
going to
they
do the
don't
backup
meet
anyway.
every month.
Right.
And I don't even think it's every other month. I wish I'd looked. I didn't. They don't meet that often. Unless it's a special project.
Dari, as a planner, would be somebody that would know what's going on, or he should, and coordinate that with what's going on across the
I
state.
don't know. I can tell you that I was at a couple. They started talking road stuff, and so I did some homework. So I wasn't completely ignorant of road stuff. I mean, I can tell you what the MUTCD is. The Manual Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And I wouldn't know that if I hadn't been on TAC. So I'm just saying, I mean,
Talk to.
in an ideal world, I would want my Public Works Director there.
Yeah.
But maybe.
But if we put both of them there, the alternate usually shows up in case the other one can't. So they're going to both know.
then it wouldn't matter in that scenario
Right, and-
who was
Right.
the member and who was the
So what would you
alternate.
like to do?
Then it's going to be a learning experience for him jumping in, so.
I'll go with Joe and Kevin
Yeah.
as the alternate.
Next year, we'll reverse it.
Okay.
Regional transportation needs are identified locally and prioritized by the LRPC Transportation Technical Advisory Committee in coordination with the New Hampshire Department of Transportation. Other regional involvements include the facilitation and preparation of regional transportation plans and studies on safety, mobility, commerce, and recreation.
So it's much more than DPW.
But it's dealing with regional transportation.
Yep.
Joe's pretty up on that stuff.
Joe's really
Want to
good.
talk to him about that?
Joe's on Lakes Region Planning for years.
Joe's
so-
really good with that stuff. I mean,
Right.
he really was instrumental in the Silver Lake Road
And
and Route 3 issue.
the only caveat is that Joe accepts that position.
So why don't we do this? We'll make Joe the member. We'll make Kevin the alternate. And if Joe declines, since he's not here, then we could put Dari on.
You could put Dari and Kevin.
Yeah, do that way.
Yep.
Dari is the member and
I'm
Kevin is the alternate.
Let's see if Joe isn't.
Have there been any
on that too, so.
Have there been any conversations with these people about whether or not they would accept the positions and have the time?
I've talked to Dari
Then he was
and
okay.
he was okay with it.
So, we're going to have, let's get a consensus. Pat, what do you think?
I'd go with Joe and Kevin. Yeah. If Joe
Yeah, what do you
declines,
think?
then we'll go to Plan B.
Public Works Planner.
And I'm going to say Dari and Kevin. So we all
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm good with who, of those three, if they accept it. I would prefer that Kevin was involved, whether he's alternate or member.
Okay, so
And I
what,
don't care who the other two are.
Choice. Then
so
as an alternate.
we've got Dari as the primary and Kevin as the secondary.
Is that what consensus says?
Yes, that's what I've documented here.
I'm good with that.
Everybody good with
Give
that?
that a shot.
So just to confirm, Dari will be the member and Kevin will be the alternate. Okay, good, great, thank you. I have, based on our conversation, I'm going to hand this over to you, John. This is the letter to Kevin for the conditional offer. If you want to talk about it in detail, I would guess we'd want to go into non-public. It's pretty much exactly what you said, so I don't know if you need to go into non-public.
Pass around.
Oh, this is the one you sent us? I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. Peter, are you good with it?
Catherine, did you take a look?
Oh, here, pass it.
If you want to.
So if you're good with it, if everybody would just pass it around and sign it, that'd be great.
Really?
Just ready to check. That's all right. It's decent.
orange? Mine was in green. You can check. Yeah, there's two. P. I don't know if
Yes.
she didn't cross it off.
Okay.
Are you all set? Are you ready to go?
We're all set.
Okay. So I'm actually going to, if you're okay with it, I want to move something up on the agendas. Tim is here just to, I guess, be supporting, and I know he needs to get back downstairs, so I wanted to move that up, the Porter paving. They did, per your request, change the invoice to reflect that the work was not done. And Joyce, as you know, is gone, but she's recommending that this invoice be paid, that you approve it. They've done the work, and they will come back in the spring to do the last part of it, the top coat, and at that point, they would be paid for that.
Is that in writing?
So,
Yes.
Are they taking it at the bid price?
No, because it was not in the contract.
The wearing
There-
course was.
So you're talking about, is it going to be the guaranteed price in the spring that it was now?
Yes.
No.
Then to me, that's fine, then it's a moot point. We put it all out to bid next year.
And that's certainly your option to do that, but right now,
If
the
they're going to
invoice...
renegotiate, it's going out to bid.
Right,
but I thought in our RFP, it included a wear course,
The wear coat.
so our contract with them should be for the wear course.
Why didn't it, did you double check that, Jeannie?
I did look at that.
And it did not include the wear course?
It did not at that price. Tim?
That's correct. It wasn't clear in the bid document that was, guaranteed. It wasn't, it just wasn't specific.
Well, at that point, they could have come in and said, well, the price has changed from the bid on the base.
Well, according to Joyce, she said that in the discussions with the board and with Rob, which I wasn't privy to, but in the discussions with Joyce, she said that that was always understood that those are market prices, and whatever was done in the following year, it would be
Not necessarily. You
at
get
that price.
contractors that hold the price for the following year.
And she did say that it was the board's prerogative to go out to bid on that.
Well, it's going to have to, because it's going to be over the 1,500. If they're going to renegotiate,
So at this point, all we really have to approve tonight is the work they've done, so that then Tim can go ahead and get that check out. And as you say, Peter, in the spring, you just
well,
send it
because
out?
the other thing is, if you want to do the other work, you do all of it in one project.
That would be
And
the
they
way
get
to
all the
go.
other stuff done, and then the wearing course is done after all the cutouts and other stuff.
I'm really disappointed that was not clear.
We'll have to be wiser.
I really am disappointed in that. I mean,
I thought it was.
I thought it was very clear that the wearing course was put in there, and we were we went over this with the bids. I mean, we sat here in deciding on who was going to get the bid and said, well, this one includes the wear coat, and that's one of the reasons why we decided on this bid. Now I'll shut up. Yeah,
So are you good with
Water
Tim to
over
go
the
ahead
head.
and let the check out?
that's wrong. That's wrong.
I mean, the work has been done.
So many levels.
I understand asphalt prices are so, it's tied to fuel. All you need is a spike in fuel and the asphalt goes through the roof.
Yeah,
So I just want to be clear, you're good for Tim to let the check go?
I am.
Okay,
Because we're paying them for what they did.
right.
Pay 'em.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I'm not, but they are, so we're good.
Thank you. All right, back to roads and bridges, and I tried to block these out in my report topically for you. I'm sure you probably saw that Senator Guida jumped right on this and sent a letter out to DOT about the retaining wall. Everybody
didn't
saw
see
that
it.
letter?
Well, I've been so
It's
busy.
over here, Catherine.
Okay, you
It
can
is.
look at mine.
It's in the black hole.
So I will follow up on that. I'll give that a week or so, and then I'll follow up and find out what's going on. You got Kevin's report, so you know that the Tuscan Hill drain did get cleaned out this week. He was right on top of that, did a nice job. I'm sure you're all aware that the sinkhole at Deer Street is being worked on, and Kevin, in his report, says it will be completed by Friday. The senior center floor, we're waiting to hear back on that, but we've been told that that will be done and taken care of before the snow flies. Front doors. The front doors, Kevin, did he send an email that I missed? Kevin said that I talked to him this afternoon down at the DPW, and I don't think it was in his report to you, but he did tell me he just heard back, and they believe they will be able to get all those doors refinished as long as the weather stays between
Yes.
60 and 70.
60 and 70,
Yeah,
right.
so
Are
they
they gonna
expect to get it
include-
done.
I'm sorry, are they going to include the kitchen doors?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Repointing project. So last week you gave me the names of two folks, two companies to check about repointing. I called both. They both have been here. I've gotten one quote, and what they tell me from the one company, actually both companies said it is the wall between Onions and the town offices, which is in bad shape. And I've gotten a kind of a generic quote, but I think we have to go much further, sending out a bid and setting a scope of work and all that, but we're headed in the right direction.
Good.
And if anyone's interested in seeing the one generic quote,
Yeah. Idea what we're looking at.
Is
And I
that from
think
the
that was
people that
the-
used to do?
that was the name you gave me, John, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But I have heard from Stonehenge, and they've been out as well, I just haven't seen
You
their...
haven't seen the bid yet?
No.
Okay.
Meetings, so I attended the Rotary Club meeting on Wednesday, and I have talked with them about their event, and Chief is here, Chief is working with me on having their flyer redone to more accurately describe exactly what the Tilton Northfield Rotary Club is doing and what the town is doing.
Mhm.
Met with the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance folks.
Can we go back to that because,
Sure.
well, we could talk about it, Selectmen.
Yep, it's down under the Halloween. When I get to activities, I did put together.
We can talk about it then.
Yes.
Good,
Okay.
got it.
Met with the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance folks today, and we'll be having a meeting with Alchip to talk about what I'd like to investigate is to see if there's grant money out there to pay for the repointing of the building. And at least my conversation this morning sounded like there is. And there will be training for grant writing for Alchip in the spring, and I think that's something we should consider.
Nice.
Because at least what I'm hearing from the folks who've looked at the repointing is that the building's not going to fall down tomorrow.
Right.
But we do need to get it fixed, and so I would like to see us time that with trying to get grant funding to take
Absolutely.
care of that.
Absolutely.
Better?
I
Yeah.
believe this is a double wall.
Yeah, he actually said there were a triple wall.
So it's a triple. 'Cause
And he
when they
did-
put the lift in,
Triple on this side?
yeah, they discovered more than one brick wall.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and Gail took him downstairs and he looked, at least this gentleman looked downstairs
Yeah.
at everything, so.
Good.
He was impressed with the jail cells.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, I'll be attending the Belknap Economic Development Council meeting. I know Joyce was on that, I'm on that now, and we'll continue on serving. I serve for Meredith, and I'll serve for Tilton. And my intent would be to obviously try to find whatever opportunities for funding might be out there for Tilton. And I do intend in the next couple of weeks to have a meeting with the Avatar folks and the Health Trust folks, just to get training and up to speed about things that I need to be proficient in for the town. Relative to activities and events, we had today our first meeting of the 150th committee, and Catherine is on that committee. It was an hour long. I think it was very productive. We took some notes and did a little brainstorming. I do have some, I guess, documents, because we need to appoint the folks to this committee. I think there are, what, 6 or 7 on the committee, Catherine?
Well, who's on the committee?
So, Alan Powell,
Yeah.
Kelly Sudgley, Jeannie Forrester, Judy Tilton, Cindy Reinhardt, Johanna Ames, and Catherine Dawson.
So what about the Dick Montambo and Dennis Gaudette and all the ones that volunteered? The ones that John had asked, remember you had asked?
Yeah, they said they wanted to.
They wanted to be on.
They didn't really, I don't know if they stepped forward and
No.
contacted
Well,
you.
did anyone let them know that we were having a meeting, or? We kept the names, right? Gail, did you keep a list of the names that volunteered at the meetings?
And certainly, they can be involved, and that would be my goal, to have more folks involved.
Almost
in-
like subcommittees, to do
Yes,
different
yeah.
functions of it.
Correct. I mean, in Meredith, I'm the co-chair of the 250th committee, Pat, and I think we started with 22 people on our committee, and it came down to about 6 or 7.
Well, I really think that the Board of Selectmen should have picked that committee, but it's not my say.
Well, we've been punting it for how many months? I was gonna say, so it's like,
Well, we've been talking about this, and it hasn't
that's the
not
problem.
showed any interest. We've been getting names. We have, so far, I thought you were keeping the list, and then we were gonna decide. All of a sudden, somebody's had a meeting, I mean,
We should be thankful that the meeting took place and we...
well, I was one that wanted to be on the committee, so
Well,
then there's a lot of other people that would have been on the committee. We had no idea that there was even one existed. So,
Well, we could still
wasn't
wait
talked
and,
about here.
come 2020, still talk about doing the 150th for the year before, I suppose. I'm just
So-
glad someone's picked it up.
We have a list of names.
Yes.
Those people.
Right here.
Is it okay for them to be on it? Do you want to take a look through? And,
I think that there was a lot of people that volunteered, and people that haven't been on committees before that have stepped forward that wanted, this is
Alan Collins.
that we specifically asked to say, hey, we got 150th anniversary coming up, that they were here at a meeting and in public, and you sat here, Mr. Chair, and said, would you like to be on that committee? And they said, yeah, we'd like to be on that committee.
Can we add people to this committee?
I don't see why not.
You know, at least get this started, get the names of, officially submit some names. I know I did ask them to contact Gail, and on top of that, so if
I'll go back and look in the book
But-
what I thought was the file.
I know it.
There may be names there, but I don't remember. I apologize.
So this is a start.
It's a start.
So
There's no
We
reason
want
we
to
can't
sign
have-
these and get these people on board.
I'm going to sign any volunteers.
Okay. And then from there, we can add or put alternates and
I don't, just make them members.
The subcommittee.
Well, you don't have to stop at 7, there could be 9.
No, correct. I mean, like I say, at Meredith, we have 22 on our committee, so.
There are people that are going to want to represent different parts of the town.
Sure.
Whether it be a business.
But like you say, it's a start. And Pat, certainly we can, I'd love to have you on the committee.
Was another meeting set?
Well, I took the minutes, and I'm going to send those out, and I think we talked about in 2 weeks from now. I think to get this started, as we look at the timeline, you need to front-load the meetings, and then you could back off them a little bit after a while. But all we did today was brainstorming. Nothing is set in stone. I called and asked people who I thought would be interested. And then I had people indicate that they were interested. I had some people who weren't interested. I didn't have a list, Pat, of anyone who said they wanted to be on it. So I thought it was a start. We're moving. Got to get moving.
And
And I got a call at 3:05 saying, aren't you coming down here?
and same thing with that. One of the important things is to find out, work on a budget for it, and see if there's any money that's needed this year, if there's some type of stuff that needs to be ordered.
And we had that conversation. And in 2 weeks, that's what we intend to do. Is we've already had that conversation with Tim as well about, working on a budget.
And if any money is needed for this year,
Absolutely.
probably have some in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Excellent.
So who are the people again?
Just a second, you can see the forms.
No, sorry.
It was Kelly Sedgley, Cindy Reinhardt, Judy Tilton,
Johanna
John-
Williams.
Johanna Ames?
Johanna, and
And President?
who? Alan Powell,
Yeah.
and myself, and Catherine. Plenty of work, so
I don't think Dennis Gardet's a resident.
One
He
little,
could buy
little
that.
tiny little click. Okay.
we'll get one of these drawn up for you.
Yeah, okay.
Yes?
I'm
Yes?
good.
All right. We had a discussion last week about the Halloween in Tilton. So I had multiple conversations with, the chief, with Gail, with Pat. Pat was very helpful with this, and I came up with a overview and detail of Halloween in Tilton. You don't have to read this line by line now, but I'll just say what I have discovered is that we have the selectmen are the lead on this. They have the annual downtown Halloween event and children's costume parade, which includes also a business costume contest. And then the Tilton Main Street Trunk or Treat, which is run by the Tilton Northfield Rotary Club. And new this year is a Halloween scarecrow and display contest at Riverfront Park. And I think we are moving in a good direction. Posted on the website is the Selectmen's Downtown Halloween Event and Costume Parade. The Trick or Trunk flyer came off the website because we wanted to make some corrections on that, which we have, and we're just waiting for the updated flyer. And the Tilton Parks Commission, their event is also posted on the website along with their registration form. Any questions?
I do. What is trick or trunk?
Trick or trunk is they bring their cars down, open up the trunk, decorate it, put candy inside, I guess, and that's how children get their candy. They pass it out that
Where
way.
does that take place?
Downtown,
So they'll park their cars on downtown before the parade?
yes.
And then they
So
will be able to move in
a car
until
or a
after?
trailer
The
last,
tractor with the manure spreader. You can fill
Right.
The manure spreader with the candy.
That would be,
last year there was
Put it in the
a,
bucket.
last year Holy Trinity had a vehicle with a trailer with like a kind of a haunted house theme on the trailer itself and gave out candy from the trailer. There was a bus from First Student there that was kind of haunted little thing that gave out trinkets. Corey Benson from Benson's had a station wagon that was dressed up as Ghostbusters. So, yeah, the big blow, well, he kind of made most of the stuff himself, but so they'll come with different types of vehicles. There was only 2 trailers, I believe, and then Fred Caruso sets up in the middle of the road, and then the judges, which would be the well, last year it was Jane, Donna, Joe, myself, John. You were one of the, no, Ashley was one of the judges. It was 5 of us
Nice.
that we set up.
Oh,
So Fred,
so cool.
So Fred does the music right in the middle, sort of kind of where the Congregational Church is. Yes, he'll be there this year again.
It's the new thing because people say they don't get trick-or-treaters.
The chief organizes the downtown overall kind of parade. So then the parade starts with the kids. There's someone from the PTO, is it Deidre? Deidre, that starts the kids at T-Hop. So we tell the kids as we're going around downtown with judging the businesses. And we say, okay kids, don't forget, the parade starts, and there's prizes, at Tilton House of Pizza at such and such a time. I think it's at 4:30 or whatever. So make sure you're there. And then Deidre walks all the kids up past us around our table, and that's when we hand out our pumpkins with the number on them. And we say to them, Fred gives us the mic, if you get a pumpkin with a number on it, it means you've won a prize. And that's when they come to us afterwards to collect their prize. It's kind of seamless that way.
I'd have to pick them all.
Well, yeah, it's
It's
almost,
gotta be hard.
but
is there a certain age range?
no, there's no certain age range, but mostly creativity, best costume, that kind of thing. But then Larry Johnson from McDonald's gives us little, I don't know if he's going to do it again this year or not, Chief's going to find out. He gives us like a free ice cream cone or something for consolation kind of thing. So kind of almost everybody gets a
Oh,
prize
that's nice.
from the town of Tilton.
That's very nice.
So we get these prizes that are listed here, but then
Yeah.
if they don't get prizes, we give them out to the little cards that say a free Happy Meal or ice cream cone or something, whatever Larry gives us, and it's from McDonald's. So everybody kind of wins. So
That's nice.
All right, well, I'm done with my report. Do you have any questions for me?
are you going to be one of the judges? That's my question.
You know what? I would love to, and next year I will. No, unfortunately, I had committed to going to the North Country Public Safety Foundation dinner way up north. So I won't be able to be with you, but Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. Just saying.
This year, the Pines is putting on a trunk or treat. It is a trunk or treat, Chief, by the way.
Oh, it is?
In their parking lot the same evening that we're doing ours. And then Tanger always coordinates the same time as we do. And then so the kids come down here first. Theirs is a little bit later, and then they go up and collect candy up there. So it's a really fun night.
there was one thing, could you talk to whoever does that Public Works to tweak the lights because it's getting dark?
Okay.
So, yeah, there were,
Now,
Word?
don't we
Yeah.
change back?
At 5 a.m. when I went to work,
But I
every
mean,
night, every day this week they were on.
Is it this week that the the time changes?
Mhm.
No, that's in November, I think it's.
It's an,
November?
It's
I
like
think
the
it's
end of the
November.
month.
Okay, all right,
You mean when
So
we
yes.
call back?
I will.
All that.
so we can adjust it a little
I
bit,
will.
because it's actually changing very quickly.
Okay,
There are 5 total lights that are out on the island. There are 3 lamp posts that are out, and there's special light bulbs. There are, I like doing it. I'll go get those light bulbs, and I'll take care of that right away.
okay. So I don't
kinda
need
like
to?
doing-
You-
You don't need to worry about the light bulbs.
Okay, but,
But the other part of that is there, the
Tweaking.
outlet covers
Yep.
on the lamp post, that one's broken off, and the outlet cover on the gazebo is broken off. So
Didn't you send an email suggesting a locking
I
one?
did.
And JP Carter was in and he saw those, I think, didn't Tim talk with him?
But I had suggested that, especially for the light post one, it's a regular outlet and it has, the outlets open like this. You can get the weatherproof ones so that they're covered over like that because it's horizontal.
right,
And also it should be a ground fault because it's up there exposed. So JP Card could do that. And,
Before we contract work on the island, we always notify Northfield because they pay typically 50%.
okay.
I'll
So
take care of the 3 post lights.
okay, and
Just gonna get the bulb?
now you said,
I'll get the bulbs, yeah. I
No,
know
Will
right
you
away.
install them now?
Yeah.
Okay.
so you're taking care of the 3 lamp posts?
lamp bulbs.
You said there were 5 lights out,
There
is
are
that it?
5. There are 2 other inside the
Okay.
gazebo that are
2
missing.
lights in the gazebo that need to be taken care of? Okay, great.
But they could just kind of once a week, kind of, when they do their rounds, check on that.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Trying to think.
What painting of the,
When are you getting your room painted?
Waiting to hear back from Officer Johnson.
Okay. Not a pink, anything but pink.
any,
I didn't realize I get to choose a color.
Huh?
I didn't realize I get to choose a
You
color.
can choose a color, anything but pink, it's a town policy.
That's hilarious.
the prison's going to be doing,
He was excited.
from the department,
Yeah.
they're not going to use orange, right?
I haven't seen it, it's gonna be the same white color, but that's opportunity. Their picture was in the paper, by the way, Catherine's article in the Echo about
The Donna Rhodes article, my picture, but not Rhodes' article.
Anything else for me?
That's it.
I'm trying to think.
That's usual, yeah.
Oh, we got a letter from Cindy to update the
Officers and,
Committee
Yes.
members.
committee members.
yes.
I did not see that there were any on my part that executive committee for the senior center to be updated. But our chat committee is totally wiped out.
Your chat committee?
Caring Hands assisting
Okay.
Tilton.
Yeah, that one.
It's totally, I mean, she completely wiped everything out.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Oh.
What do you mean she wiped it out?
We still give rides to,
No, but what do you?
It's not there.
it's not there. There's-
Cindy's
the only
records
mem-
don't show it.
The only member, lifetime member is me. There's no other members on there.
What does that stand for? Caring
Caring
Hands?
Hands Assisting Tilton, chat.
Off last year.
It was started about 10 years ago. Hmm?
I think, didn't we take that off last year when we were doing the town report?
No,
You shouldn't have.
shouldn't have.
It's an official committee.
It's an official town committee.
Yeah, but I thought it was defunct.
No.
No,
Oh, no, that's an important committee. There's the
very
ones that
important committee. It
driving
still
people around
exists.
and that's how some
We
people
don't have any volunteers.
don't get out to get their
So we'll
groceries.
get that.
When, there are certain times when people need rides and things that we don't have volunteers. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna happen.
Because I,
Yeah,
Well, you don't have volunteers available,
Well,
right?
there's a lot of committees that are in that same boat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
to work through the town administrator. Monday night at Parks, we had a discussion. Past couple of years, Public Works has put the ice rink up at the 132 ball field. Parks would like to know if they are able to do it this year, and what the board says.
The Board of Selectmen a few years ago said yes, the Public Works could put it up and maintain it. That hasn't changed, so unless we reverse that decision.
Well, what's the condition of it?
Of the
Well,
rink?
my understanding is that, and I'm not sure why, the liner was thrown out.
That's what I heard
The
today.
liner is 10-ply polyethylene.
Why was it thrown out?
What I heard
So-
was,
Oh, is this another
Oh, let's,
Olsen or what deal?
Probably.
It gets, so they get tears in it, they get holes.
Right.
There's a special tape. Well, I mean,
Gorilla
it's
tape
not
would
that
work.
special, but I have tape.
Which Kevin has now.
Kevin has now, but I've told each public works director, I have this tape for the liner. So when there's a hole, you just tape it.
Yeah.
You know, when there's, you just
it's
tape
gone.
it.
So
you
how
don't-
can we put the,
So
Rink
to
up without-
replace it from Nice Rink, which is the company we bought the pool
Mm-hmm.
from, for that size pool, I think it's like $5,000 for the
but how can
liner.
you put a rink up with no liner?
Well, what I'm saying is I don't know if you'd have to buy the poly, and probably Kevin, our public works director, would know better, or even Peter, because you were sort of in construction. You can buy polyethylene in 10-ply, 6-ply, 8-ply, and it comes in a roll. It's not specifically cut for that, and then overlap and tape it. Because once it freezes, it
That's an awful lot of work.
Who's going to
You
pay?
ought to try
which-
hauling that liner out.
Yeah,
The liner for that pool,
Who threw it out?
our public works director. So I think that public works
needs to pay for the replacement.
should replace it. It shouldn't have been thrown out. There's just no way it should have been thrown out. I mean,
What's interesting is why would he throw it away without consulting Parks, since it was there?
Are we certain it was thrown out?
I
that's
was,
what that's
I
what-
was told it was thrown out by two of the
It's not
public
in
works.
the shed, and I don't think I
Yeah.
saw it around outside, so it's,
I was told by two of them that it was thrown out.
So Parks is expecting the town to reimburse them for that.
well, I don't
Because
think
it was
they're
thrown
aware
out.
that
The
that's
money comes
gone.
out of the selectmen's budget, whether it's the parks portion of the selectmen's budget or public works portion. It needs to come out of,
Just asking, I'm
The
just
budget.
trying to figure in my head what we're gonna do. Because you can't put a rink up without a liner.
You can, but you have to wait for frost.
it,
Always everything.
having a liner better protects the grass, believe it or not.
Yeah, and you're gonna put it up on a football field,
No, it's off to, it's not in the field.
Well, it's on that field, but,
off the side.
It's off to, it's not,
So-
none of it's in the football field.
We need to resolve, if we're gonna use a liner, how much, so Kevin could go and check and see what it would cost, and start working on that to get a liner that size.
It's gonna have to be about 70 by 110,
Then
because it's a
the-
60 by 100, I think,
that
rink.
company again is Nice Rink. So he could compare the price to 60 by 90?
60
He
by
said
100.
70.
60 by 100.
But you want the
The liner is,
liner wider, so
is
the
wider
70
than
by
110.
110 gives you enough to come up the side.
but they'll give him the specifications of the liner designed specifically for that pool, the 10-ply, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So he could compare.
Well, the other thing to check is, okay, if we don't go 10-ply, what if we do 2 5-ply?
Well, I think you could do an 8-ply.
Probably, yeah.
It's just to hold water.
Mhm.
I don't think it has to be 10, but you could do an 8-ply.
So
And-
Kevin can take some.
Kevin,
notes,
that's,
see what he
John,
can
that's a
find.
great idea.
I'll talk to Kevin about it and have him get on it.
And one thing, and I know it's gonna happen, I would like to suggest to the park to just even think about it for this year, to put it at the park downtown at the Mill Park.
How would you put water in it?
Well, water could be pumped from the river
How?
and put that into there. And here's, let me just finish, and there's a couple reasons. It's a lot easier to maintain for the Public Works Department because it's right there and it's accessible, okay? The next part is, is that, you know, I can picture a beautiful park, the Christmas lights, and a place with the kids and the families skating. And
Well, you
What
may
size are you looking at,
and
John?
this is, let me just finish. So I think that in the past, it's also for safety and security. We've had some vandalism that's done up there and problem with pumps that, and I know, I went to help you a couple times up there, and I didn't do anywhere near as much work as you spent out there at 10 below zero trying to.
Our first year there, 60 by 100, we had an 18-inch difference. You go to Riverfront,
So, thank you. I was
you have
gonna
no
say-
flat area. It's all sloping unless you're right up against the walkway.
Down towards the river and the walkway.
There's no question at all, Riverfront would be an ideal situation for a skating rink. But Park Commissioners went over that, and they spent a
Yeah.
lot of meetings trying to figure out where the flattest, area would be, the largest area would be. There isn't the bottom down there. If you, even at movie night, you're like this at the flat area,
We
and
had
that's
to
not good for
have-
an ice rink.
We had to have the area at 132 leveled for the rink. And the size of the rink does not fit in Riverfront Park anywhere.
But it would be ideal for Riverfront.
It would. I don't know how,
Well,
I don't know how the irrigation system would fare
So
underneath
the
it.
Parks Commission could just take a look, and if we don't do it this year, I'd like to look at towards next year, because I think it would be a very beautiful place and inviting.
What about a smaller one?
But here's the other
10
thing.
by
And
20?
I'm just asking,
can,
Just asking.
if
I can
the
certainly,
Parks Commission could take another look at it, see what it would take to get that, and I think it would be well used by the people in the town. So, like,
15,000, maybe?
I think
You're gonna have to excavate a big area to get it level. That's the
You'd
biggest
have to-
problem.
Please just take a look.
yeah, I've got it.
Okay, and that's it.
So I just want to back up a minute. Peter, what was it that you said to me? I just want to make sure.
See if DPW was going to put the rink up at 132 again this year.
Okay.
I think that would be up to the Board of Selectmen.
That's why I'm bringing it here.
So don't ask Jeannie to see if
Well-
DPW would put it up. Just ask the Board of Selectmen if they would allow DPW to put it up. That would be the
The
question.
question is,
Right.
would the Board of Selectmen, as I said earlier,
Yeah,
continue to allow them to
right,
put it up?
exactly.
And
Let's wait for Joe.
so put this off till next week.
I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it at all.
I'll bring it
We have to
back up.
resolve the liner issue
The
first.
liner anyway.
Yeah, that has to be resolved.
Right.
Anything
So
else?
next
Putting
week,
Yep,
we'll put that on, Gail?
Yes?
rink.
for the selectmen,
Table.
Oh,
but it'll go through you.
okay.
Parks is asking, is DPW gonna use the town truck for the parade and light it up?
Absolutely.
December 1st is the Christmas parade. It's
Oh.
early this year.
December 1st?
Yep.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's the first Saturday.
And then as an FYI for the board and the administrator, sewer bills, you'll notice one was pulled. The bill we got for Riverfront is 10 times its normal rate. We normally, the $35, which is 1,000 cubic feet, their reading says 10,000 cubic feet. So if you think of the big tractor trailer that pulls in there, it's 10 of those amount of water.
Do we know where the water?
No, because if the water's either in the bathrooms on the building and I think 2 outside spigots. And if the spigots were running, Paul would have let us know because he's there 3 days a
Yeah.
week. If there's a water leak on those, it would have daylighted before the river.
But those
In the
spigots,
bathrooms, that much water, you're gonna have evidence.
the spigots are kept off
Mhm.
unless the park commissioners or Paul needs them.
So that's why we've got to check, I believe Bill is checking with the water company to see if they had a problem with the meter reading.
No,
Could they,
didn't even consider that.
the other part of that is, what type of toilet is that? A tank toilet or is it
Yeah.
a hydraulic toilet?
It's not a tank.
It's not a tank? I think it is a
Isn't it
tank.
one of the low?
Huh?
Isn't one of the low directly into the wall tanks?
So what I was getting at is a tank toilet has a tendency to continue running and problematic. but a hydraulic flush where you just have the handle, it turns off.
But
We had a couple of
but-
leaks.
But again, this was for July, August, September, that quarter.
very
If that was
strange.
happening in the bathroom between Paul Rushlow and the cleaners,
We
I'm
would
sure
know.
someone would have said, hey, we've got a running toilet.
Don't
We
depend on
did-
the
and we
cleaners
did
to say
have-
anything.
At least 2 incidences with the toilet in one of the bathrooms leaking.
Yes, but from what I heard from
But it-
Bob was it was off the handle and it's a drip when you hit the flush, so that would,
It wasn't a constant. One of them was, one of them wasn't. And then
but for,
hot water heater was last year, so that wouldn't even play into it.
So we can investigate the missing water.
well, that's, we're talking 80,000 gallons.
I know, it's huge. Yeah.
We usually use under 8,000 because it's the minimum billing.
Somebody tap into it? Somebody come in the
It's
night and
fine.
fill a tank?
All the dogs were thirsty.
All right, anything else for me?
That's it.
Thank you.
Selectmen's reports, we just got Pat. Because
Start with Catherine this time.
I skipped you last week.
That's right. Start with Catherine this time.
Catherine.
Short and sweet. So I was tasked with looking for an item today, and I happened to be looking through some of the pictures that were donated to the town of Tilton Historical, and I have a picture in my hand of Franklin, New Hampshire's Center Street Decoration Day, 1885. And I wanted to know if anybody agreed with me that we should give it to the city of Franklin. It's a very cool picture. They may
Sounds like a
have
plan.
it, but I just thought it'd be nice courtesy.
It's great.
Isn't that a great picture?
Decoration Day, is that Memorial? Which did that evolve into?
What's got a large watch?
I don't remember.
Decoration Day was, it's called something else, Memorial Day in the United States. One was Decoration.
Memorial Day, yeah.
Huh?
Memorial Day.
Ah.
And the only other thing I have is, and I brought this up in the past before, and I'm gonna bring it up again tonight, because John reminded me that our trail has been closed for lack of, we don't have a trail committee. In our agreements with the Trail Association, there was going to be a committee formed to patrol the trails, to see if there was something that needed to be cleaned out. I think they're supposed to report back to the Board of Selectmen in Tilton. And with that was also supposed to be those monies that we also agreed upon the amount were supposed to be deposited into an account for that. That has never taken place. And, you know, it's shameful that we've had to, that we didn't close the trail, somebody else did without, and the authority to close the trail is the Board of Selectmen's. I don't know.
There was a sign.
Sign up, trail closed, branches and whatnot.
It's been for a couple months.
There's no trail committee, so it had to have been members of the Winnipesaukee Trail Association that closed it.
So who's on that?
I don't know.
In touch with-
But we need to get this going. It needs to be done. It should have been done years ago.
What'd you say about money?
You'll have to look in the agreements. It's all connected to the monies that, in the agreement we signed, they were supposed to raise and put into an account for maintenance of the trail. That's it.
And I think we have minutes relative to that, back within the last 3 years.
Yeah, find those, that was the other thing. I had asked for copies of all the signed agreements. I think there's at least 4. All of those signed. If we don't have it, Northfield would have copies, I believe.
What signed agreements from
the trail agreements. There is a maintenance agreement, there's an agreement with the state of New Hampshire, there's
Rails.
rails and trails agreement, I think that's the
No,
state.
actually, it was the rail.
The rail trail agreement, I think, involves the state and DES. I have copies of them, but I just don't have the signed. We should have the signed, and we should get that committee formed. I'm good, thank you.
So, just a question, and how do you envision that committee getting formed? I just wanna make sure.
I would contact the Trail Association and say, it's specific in the language, if I remember, what comprises the membership. I know there's a Board of Selectmen on it, member. But
It's
I would
very
read that
specific.
language, and I think that's going to explain it.
Okay, and on the same note, I don't know if I told you last week, but the Conservation Commission went down and cleaned out all the weeds from the perennial beds
Oh,
entering into the park there.
Nice.
Paul Rushlow came down, volunteered, and took a truckload of weeds. We had a grand old time pulling weeds. The plants are doing pretty good. Looks pretty nice.
I have one more thing, and you reminded me of it, if I could. So, I still have the headstones that the Conservation Commission agreed to allow us to, and that was a courtesy because that's still Selectmen's land, but they did agree to allow us to put those gravestones there.
I'll have to check with Chuck if I don't remember what the conversation was on that.
Well, a location to put them had never been decided. But they're still hanging out at my house.
You'll have to hear this story, right? Okay, I'll ask.
So would you see what you could do about that? I don't mind, but it's just a shame. I'd like to have them go back home.
Okay, and the next thing, I think everybody got an email from me regarding a letter, summons that sent me.
Oh,
Yeah, everybody got it, so that's all
Cold.
set?
That's an avatar to wall thing.
Okay, so that's all set.
Yeah, all set.
but thanks, I read it.
And the interesting part is on page 2, the third line down, you first go to town of Seabrook, so boilerplate.
Yeah.
Can we send it back and tell them it's wrong?
See which one works, you know?
How come they're gonna pick up the minutes?
So that's all I have at this moment. Peter?
Okay, fall cleanup, Amnesty, October 17th and through the 19th, 9 to 3:30, Saturday the 20th, 8:30 to 4. They'll take construction demo, appliances, metal, tires, propane tanks, batteries, television, it's on the website. No hazardous waste, oil-based paints, household cleaners, chemicals, no brush or leaves. The next time for the brush or leaves is October 27th and then November 3rd. And then also mark your calendars, December 1st is the Christmas parade in Tilton, followed by Santa at Riverfront Park, and then fireworks around 6 p.m. Pat?
Next Thursday, there is a retirement get-together for Pam Jolivet. Pam Jolivet was the head director for Community Action Program. She's the one that instituted the programs for this senior center here in Tilton. She retired. They have a new replacement, so they're having a open house from 4 to 6 on October 18th at the Tripp Center in Franklin. So if anybody would like to attend at 4 and then come over here, just, go in and say hi and whatever. So in conjunction with that, we have a memorandum of understanding that we were supposed to update on a yearly basis, but for the senior center, but it's sort of like 10 years old and we've never really updated it on a yearly basis. Oops. we probably should be looking at that, although it's been working just fine and we have a great relationship with them. But for our own liability, we probably should at some point in time when things settle down here, we should take a look at that with the new director of community action when she gets her feet a little bit wetter. We have had a couple of issues at the Tilton Senior Center with rodents. An abundance of them, even though we pay Terminex, but we have a new guy that is coming up there, and apparently he's only spending a few minutes and walking out the door again. That's what I've found out. So Monday he comes in, he goes in and goes back out again, 5 minutes most. So in the past we've had bait boxes in the attic, in the little maintenance room, little cubby hole underneath the water heater, outside the perimeter and the outbuilding, which took care of most of our issues. But lately we've had a few
This is the time of year they move inside. And
unwanted.
there's an abundance of them because
Yeah.
we didn't have a tough enough winter.
So this is a brand new guy, and
Yeah, they can change.
I think-
it like crazy.
yeah, and I think that we probably should talk with the supervisor and say this is really not working well. So I've talked with the program director up there, and that's the issue. The other, just an FYI, you can pass this down to Catherine. John, you've seen it. Pass it down to Jeannie. And so there was a water main break bottom of Cedar Street and Maple Court. Of course, you all know that I live on Maple Court. I'm not, although it was in the middle of the night and they worked very, very diligent, that was left and it's still there as of 5:45, whenever we started the meeting tonight, on the side of the road. And I'm not very pleased with the asphalt that they put down because there's huge divots in the road now and the cutout that's there in the middle of the road with the divot in it, and it has this very large asphalt that's in it. Outside of where our road is, there's big cracks in our road. So what happens now with Cedar Street? I mean, does it continue to crack like that, or asphalt, or do you have highway go in and seal the cracks, or will it continue?
The cracks are huge. I don't know. Can you? I'm a concrete person. Can you seal
Well, first
cracks
off,
like that?
what did they put down? Are we talking cold patch, temporary, let it beat down, then they come back, saw cut, put in the hot mix?
Well, I
Or
don't
was
think anybody saw cut
No,
in order to dig.
No.
It looked like somebody lifted it up, and there's all like cracks
Maybe
around
not-
the hole.
Trust me, they did not saw cut today because I watched them open the hole.
No, but when they do the final patch,
They should saw cut.
now, did they get a hold of the Public Works Director for the permit to dig in the road?
My understanding was yes, because I
Okay.
asked if they had a
Okay,
permit.
so if they've done that, we can follow up with Public Works and follow up with, you need to, come back and fix that.
So
I
I
have to
don't-
look at your
So maybe
cracks.
Jeannie could just
I
express our
personally have not
concerns to
spoken,
Kevin.
right. I personally have not spoken with Water Company. I've seen this and it was after hours. So when I came home from work, my vehicle actually went like this in the road when I went by it, and I said, well, wow. Then I happened to walk because I wanted to take care of that other issue that we were talking about. And I saw this right on the side of the road, so I said, well, geez, this is not really a good way to leave a job. But let's just see if they are going to do more work and figure out if it's they're not finished with it yet. Maybe that might be the case. When they were down in the hole, I mean, this was a very, very deep, deep hole. I mean, John, it was way over his head. That's how deep he was before they found the pipe, okay? But when he was down in the hole, he really smelled oil. Very strong oil smell. So I did look in that property and there's no pipes. However, there's 8 huge trucks, unregistered, just there. I mean, they're old U-Haul vehicles that used to be U-Haul vehicles that are just there. No registrations, no plates, nothing on them. And then there's a trailer that's recently new, that's right out front with a trailer that's brand new on it. But I don't know commercial property, how many unregistered
I don't know if there is any
Inspected
difference
vehicles.
between private or commercial, what the policy is for unregistered, but
Code enforcement, take
No.
care of that?
code
It's
enforcement,
RSA, it's one.
is it one?
Definition of a junkyard is more than one, I believe. Check the RSA's.
Code enforcement, should take a look at.
Code enforcement should take a look, they've got unregistered vehicles there, he should take a look.
There are 7 huge trucks. I mean, big box
I'm sorry,
Old.
I missed it. I was-
U-Haul trucks.
The former Daniels property on Cedar Street.
I believe it's out of Massachusetts now. You have to get the new owner.
Typically digging, if you start smelling oil or something like that, it's from a oil tank that was underground.
We couldn't find any.
I mean, a vehicle only has like 10 quarts and, you know.
I thought there might have been because there used to be a
farm.
mechanic shop there. That's where they used to repair the oil riggers. Is that what they call
All you have to do is
it?
go into the shop, and if there's a floor drain,
Typically that's, so if there was a shop, sometimes farms. or-
Well, that's where they used to repair the well, the,
Pump
Trucks, yeah.
Well drilled.
Everything
The
went down
drills.
the floor drain.
what do you call them? Rigs?
Yeah, the drill rigs, yeah.
With drill rigs. So, anyway, that's it. I'm done. And I have, and so, are we all set with Nadeem coming?
Yes, he's on the way back, so
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll have him come in to a meeting as soon as he gets back in town.
Well, yeah, he's got to get sworn back in again. Yeah. I'm very excited about that. Who wrote that?
Not I.
No, Becca will note that she should call Bill Murray to do the extermination.
That's funny.
They, so we also have to talk about a function next week instead of the 25th because we really need to step it up. So what are we going to have?
Oh, I thought, like you said something about sandwiches, so I'll get a sandwich platter from next door. And then I just remembered I have to do the CRF for the bonus,
Yep.
and then just have something small, because she's already had a party, right?
Are we going
Are we
to,
going to do inviting the committees and stuff, I thought?
Oh, I don't, you guys decide, that's why we.
I thought we were going to do
It was
Boards and
originally
committees
on the
and-
25th, but now she's
Yeah.
not available.
employees and,
boards, committees, employees, and do more than just just a plate of sandwiches. We do a little bit more than that.
Do you want to start it earlier? I may not be part.
I can't get here till 4:30 at the very, very earliest. I mean, 4:45 is
Like
going to be
town
pushing it, I
treasurer, too.
think.
town treasurer, all
Okay,
these.
so Tim
people
wants to
should
be on
work.
agenda for budget presentation format. Kevin from DPW and Joyce's link, so.
Can we just push them? Can we push them to the 25th or no?
Probably, we can push Kevin, but we probably won't be able to push Tim. But he'll only take a few minutes, because it's budget season.
We can,
We can push
Yeah, tell
budget
them
to
the
the
25th.
25th.
We're quick. Start budget with the chief on the 25th.
Start budget presentation with Tim on the 25th, with the chief,
Okay.
and then we'll just take,
So we won't have a meeting next week, we'll just do the function?
we'll
we
just,
should have a pre-meeting.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Do we have Tim come up first?
No, if we're signing stuff and
just signing stuff, that's
Signing
all.
stuff
We
and
just, you know, and
any
if,
emergencies and that kind of thing.
and then if
but-
Jeannie has anything important to bring up with us, then we
Right.
do that, that's it.
We just table something till next meeting.
And budget, Tim should send us any budget information so we can review it.
The ring.
I like to do homework.
So what time do you want to have the function next week?
Right, we got the rink also to
We
bring
can
up,
table that.
but we're gonna get information on that, so.
Right.
So we'll just discuss those things and be done with it, so we can start our meeting, 7 o'clock or something. We'll have a quick
Let's
hour
have-
meeting, that's it.
Yeah, let's have it at 6, that way most people are out of work, right?
So have the function at 6? I would say 5:30.
Okay,
5:30?
5:30?
Yeah,
We meet at 4:45, so that gives you 45 minutes.
yeah,
The
we'll
planning?
be done by then.
5:30, okay. All right.
4:45, and then we're done 5:30, then we have first, but order what we feel, so we've got committees, PD, Public Works.
And also, my annual trip to El Salvador is earlier this year, so I'm leaving on Halloween. So I will miss the 1st and the 7th, first and the 8th meeting, so I will miss 2 meetings. So,
We
meetings on our own.
can do it by Skype while you're on vacation.
Okay. A little bit of time change, so you can,
I was gonna go with her.
Well, maybe we can all go then.
Okay, I'm good with that.
you got your passports updated, let's go.
No meetings.
Oh, I don't think don't even tempt us with that information.
Anything else?
I don't, are we all set now? You're gonna order accordingly?
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll
The-
order accordingly.
Accordingly, so what about we got the gift already, right?
That's, yeah.
A trinket,
What am I-
We do?
Well, no, you guys
The-
decided.
the money.
Just make sure
Oh,
that-
nice.
Plan, what's with the picnic, so as long as they're okay with it, okay. Because I've got to do the CRF for it, and Tim says we can do after the fact. Just make sure they know we're doing this as originally the plan was for the picnic, so as long as they're okay with it, we'll be fine. So there's 2 things. We decided about the bonus, the retirement bonus, and then all she wanted was to put that on the island, which we already did. So I think our finance director is concerned about financing.
So let's set a limit of, you're gonna go next door?
I think that's a good idea.
So let's
So
set a
we
limit
It's a
of,
new business.
We'll cut out some bullets.
Okay.
He's not paying attention.
so let's set
We're
up,
really gonna cut out the
so
bullets.
let's set a max of 500 if all our committee members come.
$500 for the whole department for the year?
Yeah, but that's also on top of the,
That,
I'm sure there's money in the budget
that's
for
in
this.
addition
Small
to,
monies
in
and,
addition to,
well, we're not gonna spend $500.
Yeah,
I can tell you
it's
that.
I'm
small
saying
monies
max.
in the budget.
right,
And, you know,
do it.
it's a
get it done.
one-time thing. This woman's been with us so long.
That's right,
The
do it up
event on
right.
the island, you know, our employees and board, especially board and committee members couldn't attend. It was in the middle of the
And
day.
friends and things, and this is
Middle of the
boards,
day.
committees, this is people that
6
she
o'clock
worked
at
with.
night?
Well, they were invited to the picnic.
On the island, it was during the day.
No, it wasn't.
Do we
I
have a
made it.
motion to adjourn? We all set?
Second.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you.
And a second. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, someone's yelling, wait a minute.
Oh,
What?
Sorry, we're just getting done with supervisors meeting.
Oh my God, Bitola.
Vitola's here.
No, it's Bit-Ola.
We just adjourned, sir.
No
Do
puppies?
you need to come before the
You have to have puppies to come up.
Do you solemnly swear?
speak now or forever hold your peace?
We are going to have a farmer's market next year in Tilton. It's going to be at the Catholic Church. Starting mid-May, we'll go to the end of October. Thursdays, 3 to 6. That's all.
Boy, people are gonna be happy to hear that.
They always do these things on selectmen's
I
night.
don't know.
Come up on the mic, here,
They always do these things on
Say- come up and
selectmen's
say
night.
that again, Julie.
right here.
Farmer's market next year
Yep,
at the Catholic Church,
yes, the Booton Center.
Catholic Church, Food Center, okay?
Start mid-May, go through October.
No, it's that right
May
in
through
there.
October.
Thursdays, 3 to 6.
When did you say?
Thursdays,
Thursday. Because Franklin has theirs on Tuesday, right?
correct. We're actually partnering with them,
Six.
so we'll be doing cross-advertising and such with them.
Thank you.
Okay.
We've actually adjourned.
Now you're gonna
We
do-
forgot to turn off the camera. Tim, you can leave that in there.
Now we're
No, the camera wasn't off yet.
Sponsored by.
We gotta get up.